When the last of the others fell from the sky, a cheer erupted from both humans and dragons. It was a sound of triumph and relief and something deeper, a sound that said we survived together. In the aftermath, as medics tended to the wounded and engineers assessed damage, Finn found Rika resting near the biodome. Her scales were scorched in places, but her eyes gleamed with fierce joy. "We won," she said to him. "Because of you, because of us," Finn corrected. "All of us." Director Voss appeared, looking older than he had days before. He approached Finn slowly. "I was wrong about you," he said quietly, "about what matters in this colony. We are supposed to be the future of humanity, and I was so focused on technology that I forgot what makes us human in the first place." "What is that?" Finn asked. "The ability to connect, to empathize, to see intelligence in forms different from our own. You have that gift, and it saved us all." Over the following weeks, Terra Nova Colony transformed again. The dragons became permanent residents with spaces designed for their needs. More colonists volunteered for the Neural Link program, discovering that connecting with dragon consciousness changed how they saw the universe. The biodome expanded to include areas where both species could gather. Luna and Finn became the directors of the new Interspecies Relations Department. Together, they developed protocols for communication and cooperation that would be shared with other human colonies. Terra Nova had proven that humanity could survive in the universe not by dominating, but by understanding. Finn's parents apologized properly, admitting they had tried to make him into someone he was not, instead of appreciating who he was. His father even asked Finn to teach him how to sense animal emotions. The first session ended with Marcus crying as he felt the simple joy of the biodome rabbits. On a clear evening 6 months after first contact, Finn stood on the colony's outer wall watching the sunset. Rika landed beside him, careful not to damage the structure. "Do you ever miss your old life?" she asked. Before everything changed, Finn thought about it. The lonely years, the mockery, the feeling that he did not belong anywhere. "No," he said honestly. "I spent years thinking I was broken because I was different. But I was not broken. I was just early. I was the bridge before anyone knew a bridge was needed." "Your people have a saying about that," Rika said. "What is it?" "Every dreamer seems foolish until their dream comes true." Close enough, Finn smiled. They sat in comfortable silence, human and dragon, watching Terra Nova's sun paint the sky in colors both species found beautiful. Somewhere in the colony below, other humans and dragons were learning to think together, to dream together, to build a future together. The boy who whispered to beasts had become the man who united worlds, and in doing so, he had shown humanity something they had forgotten in their rush to the stars, that the greatest strength was not in weapons or technology, but in the courage to understand those who seemed impossibly different, that the vast universe was less frightening when faced with friends instead of alone, that every voice mattered, whether it spoke in words or feelings or songs beyond human hearing. Finn Ashford had been mocked for hearing what others could not. But in the end, his gift had given both humans and dragons something precious beyond measure, a chance to survive, a reason to hope, and a future neither species would face alone. The next 72 hours transformed Terra Nova Colony in ways nobody could have predicted. Director Voss wanted the dragons removed immediately, but Captain Frost and Professor Blake convinced the Colony Council that evacuation was impossible. Where would 55 creatures the size of buildings go? Instead, an uneasy coexistence began. The dragons settled in the wilderness area outside the colony's main domes, keeping distance but remaining watchful. Finn became the translator, spending every waking hour moving between the two species, building understanding word by word and feeling by feeling. Luna stayed by his side, taking notes and helping him explain complex ideas to both humans and dragons. She had a gift for seeing patterns that Finn missed. Together, they discovered that the dragon's intelligence operated on completely different principles than human thought. They did not have spoken language or technology, but their minds could share experiences directly, creating a collective memory that spanned generations. "Your people store knowledge in machines and books," Rika explained to Finn during one session. "We store it in each other. When one of us dies, their memories join the greater song. But so many have died that the song grows quiet." Finn shared this with Professor Blake, who was fascinated. "A biological collective consciousness. The implications for neural research are staggering. They are not research subjects, Finn said sharply. They are refugees. Of course, Professor Blake said quickly. But understanding their biology might help us protect them. On the second day, the dragons shared something crucial. They showed Finn images of the others, the machines that hunted them. They were not ships, but semi-organic constructs. Artificial intelligence merged with harvested biological matter. They consumed living things to grow stronger, spreading like a plague across the galaxy. And they were coming to Terra Nova. The Colony Council called an emergency meeting. Every department had attended, including Finn's parents, who looked at their son with a mixture of pride and confusion. When had the weird kid who talked to animals become humanity's ambassador to an alien species? Director Voss stood at the head of the table, his authority clearly threatened by recent events. We have 3 options. 1. We evacuate the colony and leave the dragons to face the others alone. 2. We ask the dragons to leave and hope the others follow them. 3. We stay and fight alongside them. Option 1 abandons allies who came to us for help, Captain Frost said. Option 2 probably dooms them and might not even save us. The others have already detected human signals from this planet. So you are suggesting option 3? Voss said coldly. We fight an enemy we know nothing about using weapons that might not work? We learn, Luna spoke up, surprising everyone. She was the youngest person in the room, but her voice carried conviction. Finn has been learning from the dragons. They have fought the others before. They know their weaknesses. What weaknesses? Voss demanded. The others are machines that harvest biological matter, Luna explained. They are strong against technology, but vulnerable to things that disrupt their biomechanical interface. The dragons' bioelectric fields naturally interfere with them. That is why the others hunt dragons first. They are the biggest threat, so we use the dragons as weapons. Professor Blake looked appalled. No, Finn said firmly. We work together. The dragons fight using their natural abilities. We provide strategic support using our technology, 2 different types of intelligence solving the same problem. A maintenance worker and a teenager are now deciding colony defense policy? Director Voss shook his head. This is insane. Finn's father, Engineer Marcus Ashford, spoke for the first time. My son has gifts we did not understand. He has built a bridge between species in 3 days that our scientists might not have managed in 3 years. Perhaps we should listen. Finn stared at his father, shocked. Marcus met his eyes and nodded slightly, an apology and acknowledgement in one gesture. The council voted 18-7 in favor of working with the dragons. Director Voss stormed out, but Captain Frost had operational authority during emergencies. Terra Nova Colony would stand and fight. The 3rd day brought frantic preparation. Engineers worked with Finn's translations to understand dragon biology. They discovered the creatures could generate massive electromagnetic pulses that would disrupt the other systems. Meanwhile, the colony's defensive weapons could provide ranged support that the dragons lacked. Luna had an idea that changed everything. What if we could link human and dragon minds more directly? Not just Finn translating, but multiple people connecting with multiple dragons. A true hybrid consciousness. Professor Blake was skeptical. The neural load would be enormous. It could burn out human minds. What if we do not try to fully merge, just create a communication network? Luna pulled up schematics on her tablet. We use the colony's neural link technology as a bridge. Humans on one side, dragons on the other. Finn in the middle coordinating. It might work, Captain Frost said slowly. We would need volunteers. I will do it. Luna said immediately. So will I, said a security officer, and I, said one of the biodome managers who had watched Finn work with animals for years. A dozen people volunteered. Engineers scrambled to modify neural link headsets. The dragons agreed to try, though Rika admitted fear. What if the connection harms your people? What if it saves both our peoples? Finn countered. On the morning of the 4th day, long-range sensors detected them. 15 massive constructs entering the system, moving faster than anything humans had built. They would reach Terra Nova in 6 hours. The volunteers gathered in the biodome, humans and dragons together for the first time. Finn stood in the center, his mind already reaching out to Rika and the others. The modified neural links activated, creating a web of consciousness unlike anything that had existed before. Human tactical thinking merged with dragon instinct. Technology met biology. 2 species that had thought themselves alone in the universe discovered they were stronger together. When the others arrived, they found something they did not expect. Not prey fleeing in terror, Not primitive natives easily conquered, but a hybrid defense force that thought with two minds and fought with combined strength. The battle lasted 3 hours. Dragons soared through Terra Nova's sky, their electromagnetic pulses disrupting the other systems while human weapons destroyed their physical structures. The neural link network let them coordinate perfectly, humans guiding dragons to weak points while dragons protected humans from counterattacks. Finn stood in the center of it all. His consciousness expanded across dozens of minds. He felt every hit, every victory, every moment of fear and courage. Luna stood beside him, her hand in his, helping him maintain the connection when it threatened to overwhelm him. The colony descended into chaos. People screamed and ran through the corridors, trying to reach their designated shelter zones. Security teams scrambled to defensive positions with weapons that had never been fired in anger. Director Voss barked orders from the command center, demanding answers nobody had. But Finn stood motionless on the observation deck, his consciousness expanded in a way it had never been before. The dragon creatures were not attacking. They circled Terra Nova Colony like lost birds seeking a safe place to land. Their minds pressed against his, and for the first time in his life, Finn encountered intelligence that matched his own. Not words. Not even images exactly, but concepts, emotions, and memories that flowed like water. Pain, loss, pursuit, sanctuary. One of the creatures broke from the circling pattern and descended directly toward the biodome. It was smaller than the others, perhaps only 30 meters long, with scales that gleamed deep crimson and gold. As it approached, Finn could feel its exhaustion. It had been flying for a very long time. "Finn, we need to get to shelter." Luna grabbed his arm. "No," Finn said softly. "She needs help, Her name is Rika. She is the youngest of their kind. And she is terrified." The dragon called Rika landed gently on the biodome's reinforced roof. The structure groaned but held. Up close she was breathtaking. Her eyes were massive pools of liquid amber, intelligent and searching. When her gaze found Finn through the transparent ceiling, recognition sparked between them. "You can hear me." Her thought voice resonated in Finn's mind. Clear as spoken words, "Yes," Finn responded, not knowing if she could hear him back. "Finally. We have searched so long for minds like yours. The others cannot hear us. They think we are mere beasts." Finn felt Luna staring at him. His expression must have revealed something. "You are talking to it," she said. "Aren't you?" "Her," Finn corrected. "Her name is Rika." Before Luna could respond, armed security forces burst onto the observation deck. Captain Elena Frost led them, a tall woman with steel-gray hair and a reputation for efficiency. She had served in Earth's military before volunteering for the colony mission. "Step away from the glass," she ordered, raising her plasma rifle toward the dragon above. "Do not shoot." Finn moved between the weapon and Rika. "She is not hostile. That thing is an unknown alien life form potentially threatening this colony," Captain Frost said coldly. "Move aside or I will have you removed." Finn felt Rika's fear spike at the sight of the weapons. Images flooded his mind. Other worlds. Other species who had reacted with violence, deaths. So many deaths. "If you shoot her, the others will think we are like the ones who destroyed their home," Finn said urgently. "They came here for help, not war. How could you possibly know that?" "Because I can hear her. I can feel what she feels. They are refugees, Captain. Something is chasing them." Captain Frost hesitated. Her training said to eliminate threats, but something in Finn's voice made her pause. Director Voss's harsh voice crackled through her communicator. "Captain, status report, sir. The creatures have not attacked. One has landed on the biodome. The Ashford boy claims he can communicate with it." "The Ashford boy? The maintenance worker who talks to animals?" Director Voss's skepticism was clear even through the speaker. "This is not time for childish fantasies. Neutralize the threat." "Sir, I recommend we hold fire until we have more information." "That was not a suggestion, Captain. Neutralize the threat now." Captain Frost's jaw tightened. She looked at Finn, then at the magnificent creature above them. "Sir, I formally request permission to attempt communication before using lethal force." Silence on the communicator. Then Director Voss spoke slowly, each word dripping with contempt. "You have 5 minutes. If that thing makes one hostile move, you end it." "Understood?" "Understood, sir." Captain Frost lowered her weapon slightly and looked at Finn. "All right, Beast Boy, show me what you can do." Finn closed his eyes and opened his mind completely. Rika, I need to show them you mean no harm. Can you let me see why you came here? I will share it with them. The dragon's response was immediate. Her consciousness merged with his, and suddenly Finn was somewhere else. He saw Rika's world, a planet of impossible beauty where creatures like her soared through crystalline skies. They were not mindless beasts but a civilization of thought and emotion, living in harmony with their world. Then the others came, ships of dark metal that blotted out the sun, machines that hunted the dragons without mercy, harvesting them for reasons Rika did not understand. Her people fought back, but their biological weapons meant nothing against the others' technology. Within months, billions were dead. The survivors fled across the stars, following ancient migration routes coded in their genetic memory. They searched desperately for worlds with sapient minds that might understand them, might help them. Most species they encountered either attacked immediately or saw them as animals to be captured. But then Rika had felt Finn's mind from across space. A human who could hear the voices of beasts, a bridge between species, a hope. Finn gasped and opened his eyes, tears streaming down his face. The vision had lasted seconds but felt like hours. Everyone on the observation deck was staring at him. They are dying, Finn said hoarsely. Their world was destroyed by something they call the others, machines that hunt living things. They have been fleeing for years. Rika felt my mind and led them here because she thought we might understand. They are not invaders. They are survivors. Luna had tears in her eyes too. How many of them are left? Finn looked up at Rika. How many? 43 adults. 12 young ones. We are the last of our kind. 55, Finn translated. Out of billions. Captain Frost slowly lowered her weapon completely. Her soldiers did the same, following her lead. Even they could see the exhaustion and desperation in the creature above them. Director Voss is not going to like this, Captain Frost said quietly. But I believe you, kid. Professor Owen Blake arrived then, an elderly man who studied alien biology. He stopped dead when he saw the dragon, his mouth falling open in wonder. Magnificent, he breathed. Absolutely magnificent. Captain, we cannot harm these beings. They represent the greatest discovery in human history. That discovery might get us all killed if the things chasing them follow, Captain Frost pointed out. Finn felt a chill. He had been so focused on Rika's pain that he had not considered the full implications. If the others tracked them here, Terra Nova Colony was in serious danger. Rika, Finn thought carefully. How close are the others? 3 days behind us. Maybe less. They always find us eventually. Finn translated this. The room fell silent. Then we have 3 days to prepare, Luna said firmly. 3 days to figure out how to protect them and us. Director Voss appeared in the doorway, his face flushed with anger. I did not authorize first contact. I did not authorize shelter. And I certainly did not authorize putting 30,000 human lives at risk for alien creatures. With respect, sir, Captain Frost said, that decision may no longer be ours to make, she pointed upward. Through the biodome ceiling, they could see the rest of the dragons descending, landing gently on every open space around the colony. They moved with care, avoiding the structures and people below. They have already decided to trust us, Professor Blake said softly. The question is whether we deserve that trust. The artificial sun rose over Terra Nova Colony, casting synthetic light across the metal domes that housed 30,000 souls. 17-year-old Finn Ashford crawled through Maintenance Shaft 7, his worn tool belt jangling against the narrow walls. Oil stained his fingers and sweat dripped down his neck, but he smiled. This was the best part of his job. The tunnels led everywhere, including places he was not supposed to go. Finn had always been different. While other children played with holographic games and neural link entertainment, he spent hours in the biodome watching Earth animals. His parents, both respected engineers, had stopped trying to understand him years ago. They called it a phase. The school counselors called it social maladjustment. The other kids called him Beast Boy, and not in a kind way. But Finn knew the truth. He could feel what animals felt. Not hear their thoughts exactly, but sense their emotions like colors in his mind. Hunger was red. Fear was sharp and yellow. Contentment glowed soft blue. He had discovered this gift at age 6 when a frightened cat in the biodome had scratched everyone who tried to catch it. Finn had simply sat down and felt the cat's terror, then sent back feelings of safety and warmth. The cat had walked into his arms. Nobody believed him when he tried to explain. His parents smiled and nodded, then signed him up for more advanced science classes. His teachers marked him as imaginative but unfocused. Director Voss, who ran Terra Nova with an iron fist, had personally told Finn's parents that the boy needed to stop wasting time with animals and focus on useful skills. So Finn became a maintenance worker. It was considered the lowest job in the colony, but it gave him freedom. He could move through the colony's guts, fix what was broken, and visit the restricted sections where the rarest creatures were kept. The biodome managers had learned to tolerate him. The animals behaved better when Finn was around. Today, Finn was fixing a coolant leak near the communications hub. He worked quietly while the operators monitored their screens, tracking signals from Earth, Mars, and the outer colonies. Terra Nova was humanity's furthest outpost, built on a planet that orbited a young star 60 light-years from home. One operator, a woman named Carla, suddenly sat up straight. "Hold on, I am getting something weird." Her colleague leaned over. "What kind of weird?" "Not human, not any frequency we use. It is coming from beyond the system." Finn paused his work, listening. He had always been curious about what lay beyond their little bubble of civilization. The colony had been built to be self-sufficient because help from Earth took years to arrive. Out here, humanity was truly alone, or so they thought. "The signal is repeating," Carla said, her voice tight with excitement or fear. "It is not random. This is intentional. Should we tell Director Voss?" "Immediately." Finn finished the repair and slipped away before anyone noticed him. His mind raced as he headed toward the biodome. An alien signal. After 300 years of space exploration, humans had found ruins and fossils, but never living aliens. What if that was about to change? The biodome welcomed him with familiar sense of Earth and growing things. It was a massive dome covering 10 acres filled with trees, streams, and carefully maintained ecosystems from Earth. Finn's favorite spot was the wild section, where larger predators were kept in separated enclosures. Luna Martinez was already there, sitting on a bench near the wolf habitat. She was 18, daughter of the chief science officer and one of the few people who did not mock Finn. They had become friends 2 years ago when she caught him calming a panicked horse during a storm. Instead of calling him crazy, she had asked him to teach her. "You look excited," Luna said as Finn sat beside her. "What happened?" The communications hub picked up an alien signal. Luna's dark eyes widened. "Are you serious?" "I heard them talking about it. They are telling Director Voss right now." "This is huge, Finn. This could change everything." Finn nodded, but something felt strange. A tingling at the back of his mind, like when an animal was trying to reach him but from much farther away than usual. He closed his eyes and focused, opening that part of himself he usually kept controlled. The sensation grew stronger. Not an animal. Something bigger. Something powerful. And it was calling to him. "Finn," Luna touched his arm. "Are you okay?" "You look pale. I feel something," he whispered. "Something is coming. What do you mean?" "I do not know. But whatever sent that signal, it is not just machines. There is life in it. Intelligence. And it is reaching out." Before Luna could respond, alarms began blaring throughout the colony. The emergency speakers crackled to life with Director Voss's stern voice. "All citizens report to your residential sectors immediately. This is not a drill. We have detected multiple unidentified objects entering our atmosphere. Security personnel to stations." "This is not a drill." Finn and Luna ran to the biodome's observation deck. Through the transparent ceiling, they saw them. Dozens of shapes descending through Terra Nova's sky, each one massive and moving with impossible grace. They were not ships. They were alive. They looked like dragons from ancient Earth legends, but bigger than any creature humanity had ever seen. Their scales shimmered with colors that seemed to shift between dimensions. Wings that spanned hundreds of meters caught the light of Terra Nova's sun. And as they circled the colony, Finn felt their minds touching his. Curiosity, caution, hope, and underneath it all, a desperate plea for help. "Oh my God," Luna breathed. "What are they?" Finn watched the magnificent creatures descend, his heart pounding with fear and wonder. "I think they are refugees, and they need us."